All right. Good Sunday evening. It is Sunday night service. And of course, I'm sitting here alone tonight. Dr. Motley is not going to be here. He told me today he's going to be gone for the next 3 weeks, I think. So anyway, it's going to be me. It's just me alone tonight. As you get logged on, hit your like button, hit your heart button. Tell us where you are, where you're watching from, and all of that. Hey guys, I see, oh my goodness, Dorinda and Lisa and Bonnie. I love it. I just literally flew in from Vermont, just got here, flew to the office, picked up some supplements. I was at the annual International Restorative Medicine Conference this week. And I was there for 4 days, actually 4 or 5 days. And I have learned so much. I can't wait to share with you. So we are talking hormones and humor tonight. And I am in the middle of menopause. I mean, like really going through menopause. So this is perfect timing for me. And guys, well, hey, Susie. Hey, Bonnie. It's good to see you, sis. All right. Dr. Motley's going to be out. I'm hoping that next week I have somebody that I met in California at the JJ Virgin Mindshare, Palmer, talking about autoimmune disease. And then I think I'm actually going to talk about, well, in 2 weeks, autoimmune disease. Next week, it's going to be thyroid because I'm flying to Scottsdale, Arizona to meet with the owners of WP Thyroid and Nature Throid. And that's next Friday. I'm sorry, I'm flying out Friday, coming home Sunday morning. And I'm going to be talking all about thyroid, Hashimoto's, and the status of WP thyroid next week. So I'm excited about that. All right, if you guys have any questions on here about menopause, perimenopause, any of the things that go with menopause, post them up here. Go get your pen and paper and your notes because we're going to take notes tonight. I've got, you can't see, but I've got all kinds of supplements over here. And we're going to get started. We're going to get started talking about menopause. If I sound a little nasally, I apologize. I've got a cold. I've had vertigo. I've just had one big mess while I was out of town. But listen to some of these statistics while you guys are logging on. When you get logged on, I need to see your hearts and your likes, okay? So I know when you're on here. Do you know that it's estimated that in the year 1998, I'm sorry, there were 477 million postmenopausal women in the world. The number is expected to more than double to a projected 1.1 billion postmenopausal women in the world by the year 2025. What? 1.1 billion postmenopausal women. Holy moly. So this is a big deal. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. If you have a provider who's not listening to you, who's not listening to your menopause symptoms, your perimenopause symptoms, you need to find one who does, because providers and doctors and nurses and PAs are going to have to get with the program here, because 1.1 billion postmenopausal women. All right. There was a Mayo Clinic study that came out in 2018, just this year, in the Journal of North American Menopause, right? They surveyed 5,000 women, and many of those were having vasomotor symptoms, okay? Those are hot flashes in their 60s to 80s. So it's not like it just stops as soon as you hit menopause. And here's what they found. Women older than 60 who reported moderate to severe hot flashes were more likely to be married and in a committed relationship, and less likely to self-report their health as excellent. What the heck does that mean? Maybe it means it's a good thing I'm not married and I'm not in a committed relationship. All right. So, and I feel like my health is really good. Yeah. So women in their 60s having hot flashes were more likely to be married or in a committed relationship, and less likely to be self-reported as their health is excellent. Those who experienced surgical menopause or induced menopause were also more likely to report hot flashes well into their 60s. So they went through a forced menopause, not a natural menopause like what I'm going through. Caffeine appeared to increase the likelihood of hot flashes in women older than 70. And yes, women 60, 70, and 80 still do have hot flashes, by the way. All right. It also found that women using hormone therapy were less likely to report moderate to severe hot flashes and night sweats. Well, duh, of course. When you use bioidentical hormone therapy, your hot flashes and your night sweats go down. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Okay? So few more statistics here. The average age of menopause is 51 years old. We know that. However, there's a wide age range, anywhere between 40 and 58. So some women go through menopause in their 40s. Some women go through menopause in their 50s. Some women later. I've got women right now who are 56, 57 years old and still having a cycle. So for me, I'll be 53 in January. I can't believe it. Bonnie, I cannot believe we are in our 50s. I'll be 53 in January, and I've gone almost a year without a period. I'm not quite postmenopausal, but I'm almost there. And it takes 12 months without one speck of blood to be postmenopausal. 12 months, nothing, no spotting. If you spot at 8 months and 30 days or 29 days, then you have to start back over. Okay. The menopause transition takes around 4 years for most women. Up to 10% of women simply just stop having a period without any prior irregular periods or symptoms that are common during menopause. Boom, they just wake up one day and they never have a period again. I'm going to tell you right now, those are not the women that I see in my office. There's a couple in there, but those are not the women that I see. Women who are malnourished begin the process of menopause up to 4 years earlier than women who are well nourished. Now, you can live right here in the United States and you can eat a standard American diet and be malnourished, okay? Women who smoke, which nobody needs to smoke, typically reach menopause 1.5 years earlier than those who didn't smoke. Studies have shown that only 57% of women with more than one, that only 57% of women suffer with more than one symptom of menopause, and that the remaining 43% experience nothing more than just an irregular period. Again, these are not the women I see. About 75% of women experiencing menopause will have hot flashes. 75% of women. I believe that, probably even more. If you're watching and you're going through menopause or perimenopause and you're having hot flashes, show me some love right now. Show me some hearts. I want to know who's having hot flashes and who's not. All right, let's see. Of the 57% of women who do suffer with menopause symptoms, 22% report that they affect their lives in a major way that they could not carry on successfully without treatment, without hormone therapy. Hormone replacement therapy reduces the risk of heart disease in postmenopausal and menopausal women by up to 50%. But it also, they're talking regular hormone replacement therapy here, can raise the risk of breast cancer. What we know about bioidentical hormones is that it does not raise the risk of breast cancer, okay? But it doesn't mean you're not going to get a breast cancer. I had 4 patients last year that I had on hormones, bioidentical hormones, who were diagnosed with breast cancer. So we do get breast cancer when we're on hormones. So here's how I was taught to treat women. And you tell me if you think that this is true. I was taught in school, we treat women with 3 things: birth control pills, antidepressants, and synthetic hormones like Premarin. That's what I was taught to treat women with. That's really all I was taught any woman needs is, well, everybody needs birth control because, it may help your acne. It may help, your regular periods, your PCOS, your endometriosis, whatever. Everybody needs birth control. And then eventually everyone needs an antidepressant because we all need an antidepressant because most of us have a Prozac deficiency. And then we need synthetic hormones. So really it just goes off of age, or we just cut it all out and then we go to hormones. So that's how I was taught. And in functional medicine, we don't believe that, right? We don't believe that at all. Perimenopause. We're going to start talking about perimenopause first because this comes before menopause. Now, actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but your hormones start to decline in your 30s. About your mid-30s, 34, 35, 36, progesterone is the very first hormone that starts to drop down. Well, progesterone is your calming hormone. It's the hormone that decreases breast tenderness, right? Decreases PMS, decreases cramping, right? Helps you sleep at night. It's your calming hormone. Well, that's the first hormone that starts to go. So women are doing what? they're waiting later to have babies. So as they're waiting later to have babies, out with the baby come what's left of the hormones left, and they wonder, they think they're losing their mind, and they're not. They're just simply going through perimenopause. So that's the first thing that happens is perimenopause. It usually begins in the 40s, could happen in the 30s though. 95% of women with onset of perimenopause is between 39 and 51. And it lasts for 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years, we're having a steady decline of our hormones, starting with progesterone and then estrogen and testosterone and DHEA and pregnenolone. All those things we're going to talk about. 2.8 years for about 95% of the people is the average perimenopause stage. Well, what happens during perimenopause, right? Decreased ovulation. So you start missing periods, right? Your periods start to get irregular, which you can also get pregnant during that time because then you don't know when you're ovulating or when you're not if you're not on birth control, right? Increased mastalgia. Mastalgia is breast tenderness, right? That's when you, oh my gosh, they just blow up like balloons right before you have your period. And that's called mastalgia. Well, that is multiple things. Many times it's a progesterone deficiency, but also can be an iodine deficiency. Iodine helps with mastalgia, helps decrease it. Anxiety, depression, mood swings, memory issues. This is when women begin to start to think, oh my gosh, my memory's going, right? Well, we're dropping progesterone, we're dropping estrogen. Hormones are neuroprotective. They are important for your brain. Decreased sex drive, increased PMS. Holy cow, you become a raging lunatic, you know, right before your period starts. A decrease in progesterone can create all of those symptoms, every single one of those symptoms. And it's usually not something that we look at, okay? That's perimenopause. What do we do for perimenopause? What do we do? What do I do in my office for perimenopause? What do the clinical studies show? Well, St. John's wort, let me see here. St. John's wort works beautifully for the anxiety, the depression, even some of the breast tenderness for perimenopause. I love St. John's wort. I also use it for menopause. It also has been shown to decrease hot flashes, as well as, of course, it helps with depression. St. John's wort is one of the greatest studied botanicals out there for depression. It has so many clinical studies on it for depression. It works equally as well, if not as well, if not better than Prozac, or what the study shows. So I love St. John's wort, 900 milligrams a day. It's usually, these are 450 milligrams, I think. Yeah, it was studied at 300 milligrams 3 times a day, but Metagenics makes theirs at 450 milligrams twice a day. Chasteberry. Okay, has anybody used chasteberry? I don't see anybody's hearts up here. Hey, Mary Chubinko, how are you? Has anybody ever used chasteberry? Hit your hearts. I hope I'm on. If you've ever used chasteberry, let me tell you, you know that it works. Chasteberry is it's called Vitex Chasteberry. I have used this exact product for 8 years with my patients. Its number one indication is for breast tenderness before your period, or breast tenderness anytime, okay? It also will help regulate your period some. But let me tell you about chasteberry. Chasteberry Plus I love because it has estrivera in it. Black cohosh in it, which helps with perimenopause, helps with hormones, helps with hot flashes. And it also has ashwagandha in it, which is a very calming adaptogen herb. And we use that for people with anxiety, for people who can't sleep, for people who have adrenal fatigue. So Chasteberry Plus, this is the one product that if I'm out in public with patients, or if I'm out in public by myself and I run into a patient and they come up to me and they say, hey, this is my husband, so-and-so, this is my nurse practitioner, Dani. They always say, did you start my wife on chasteberry? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, thank you so much. Because I am telling you, you don't realize how great chasteberry works. Yes, chasteberry works, Lisa. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Chasteberry works beautifully to decrease breast tenderness, decrease PMS. And you don't even realize it's working so great until you stop it or you run out of it. And you're like, oh, I'll see it. I'll go in Dani's and get it next week. And then you get your period and you're like, massive PMS. It works beautifully. It's one of the oldest herbs out there that we use for menstrual symptoms. It is also a precursor to, I'm sorry, it's not a precursor to progesterone. It helps increase your natural progesterone in your body. So many times before I ever start somebody on bioidentical progesterone here, her balance, I will start them on chasteberry. Chasteberry Plus is the one I love. Now I have other formulas here that have chasteberry in it for different things. This one is the one that I know is tried and true. Now here's the caveat for chasteberry. So if y'all are going to get chasteberry, it takes at least 2 to 3 menstrual cycles to kick in. Okay. So it's slow acting. You don't even realize it's working until one day you just start your period and you're like, holy cow, I didn't even realize. I took chasteberry for several years in my 40s before I switched over to progesterone. Okay. So chasteberry is one of the big deals. Chasteberry is huge for PMS. All right. Evening primrose oil. Does anybody use evening primrose? Evening primrose, I feel like I'm screaming. I can't hear. I apologize if I'm screaming, if y'all have to turn down the volume. I'm so loud anyway. Evening primrose oil is phenomenal for breast tenderness and for PMS symptoms and perimenopause symptoms. And another thing, I had a patient, Holly, well, I can't remember what her name was, but anyway, she used to break open the evening primrose because these are liquid gel caps, break them open and just rub them on her breast. And she said the breast tenderness would go away like that. So evening primrose works fantastic. And it's usually 500 milligrams twice a day. That's the one I use. And I love the Now brand of this one. It's $24. It's dirt cheap. There's 250 gel caps in there and it works. It works beautifully. I love evening primrose. Okay. Black cohosh, which is in our chasteberry. Okay. And then let me tell you here, one more that I have, FemQuil. So things that we use, you can use any product you want. You don't have to use my products. I'm not talking about that, but I'm just talking about the things that help you with PMS symptoms. FemQuil is loaded, and this is what I like about it. It's for perimenopause and Meri-menopause. Meri-menopause. That's a new term. People who are estrogen dominant, right? People have too much estrogen. Those are your breast tenderness people. This helps with estrogen dominance in perimenopause. PMS helps in menopause. This one helps with estrogen detoxification. So when you have too much estrogen, right, that's a breast cancer risk, as well as it creates breast tenderness and fullness. And actually, you just don't feel great when you have too much estrogen. FemQuil is one of those products that has all kinds of amazing, but Meri-menopause, that's going to be my new term. This has all of your B vitamins, all of your methylated B vitamins to help your body detox, which is fabulous. It's got calcium D-glucarate, which helps recirculate estrogen in your body, brings down estrogen dominance, has Dim-estro in it, which also brings down estrogen. It helps get rid of estrogen. Green tea extract, black cohosh, chasteberry, turmeric, rosemary, which rosemary I learned all about this weekend from, oh gosh, what's her name? Jill Stansberry, the herbalist. Rosemary, I'm not using near enough rosemary in the office for hormones. And it's got ginger and all kinds of stuff in it. I really like this formula. I started a patient on this FemQuil and something else, Oncoplex, something to clean out her liver. She said it worked unbelievable for her estrogen dominance and her PMS. So this has got all the things in it that help work beautifully. Okay. Those are some botanicals for perimenopause, right? There's other things you can use, but those are the big ones. Chasteberry, black cohosh, what is that? Evening primrose oil, okay? Those are the big ones right there. Those are the big 3. And then St. John's wort. St. John's wort, now you want to be a little careful if you're taking St. John's wort and you have it, and you're also taking an antidepressant. I would take my St. John's wort at least 4 or 5 hours away from the antidepressant, because you worry about something called serotonin syndrome, which I've never seen. And my medical director at my clinic is a psychiatrist, and he's in 20 years of practice. He says he's never seen serotonin syndrome, but that is the caveat, right? Because you're using 2 things that help increase serotonin in your body. So perimenopause, it can last anywhere from 4 to 8 years, right? It just starts really in your 40s, but your progesterone starts to drop earlier. So that's why I'm so careful with my gals. I'll start them. Yes, Kelly, that is Zymogen product. The FemQuil is. I start women on chasteberry in their 30s and their 40s, and then I'll transition them. And sometimes they start on progesterone in their 40s as well. Now, if we're going to start on progesterone, I use Her Balance in the office if we're going to use one over the counter. This is the one that Dr. Perry Chapdelaine, before he retired, this is the one he used in his practice, and I inherited a lot of his patients. And so I carry the same one. I also have it compounded at compounding pharmacies as well as a cream. But this is inexpensive. It's like $24, Her Balance. It works beautifully. It's 25 milligrams of progesterone, and I have patients put it on them at night when they go to bed. It helps them sleep if they're struggling with insomnia, and it helps regulate their periods. If you're going through irregular periods, you haven't had a period in a couple months, we'll start progesterone. Generally, within 2 months, your periods start to come back, okay? So that's perimenopause. Then we get into menopause, which we talked about. That's what I'm going through right now, 12 months with no period. Average onset is 51.5 years. Hot flashes are the #1 symptom of menopause. Night sweats, heart palpitations, headaches, foggy headedness, blurred vision, mood swings, vaginal dryness. 2/3 of the women age 75 and older, that's their #1 complaint is vaginal dryness. Decreased sex drive. I hope I'm still having sex at 70. I hope I'm having sex at 75. So I'm going to make sure I'm not complaining of that. I'm telling you. So, I mean, lots of women tell me in their 50s, they're like, I don't know if I have vaginal dryness, haven't had sex in forever. So I think that's quite impressive. Memory loss, rheumatism, sore joints hurting, just achy, not feeling good, right? Urinary incontinence. 10 to 30% of 50 to 64-year-olds struggle with urinary incontinence. Urge incontinence, right? Where you can't hold it, like, oh my gosh, I got to go pee, boom, and you've peed before you ever get to the bathroom. Stress incontinence, where you sneeze or you cough or you jump, something like that. These are all things that really start to happen here during this menopause time. Vaginal infections increase during menopause because the pH, well, one of the reasons is because the pH of the vagina changes, right? And bone loss. So who gets osteoporosis, right? Skinny, white women who don't weigh much. They don't have a lot of bone mass. I mean, you can put your hands right around, this person's wrist. Those are the women, the Sally Fields of the world, the ones who are going to get osteoporosis. Well, that's me. I don't have osteoporosis, but I got diagnosed with osteopenia this year. I'm like, what? I've done yoga my whole, for 20 years, all these things. And it's menopause. I'm telling you, it's menopause. These are all symptoms of menopause. This is when women think they're losing their bloody mind. They come into me, they break down, they start crying. They haven't had sex in forever because it hurts. It feels like glass in there, and they say, Dani, it just feels like shards. Their memory is crazy. They're hot flashing left and right. They're coming out of their clothes. They wake up at night. They're in a bed, a pile of sweat. They're mean as hornets to their husband, to their kids, to everybody. I mean, just all hell's breaking loose, quite frankly. And it's menopause. It's menopause. And I think that I am in this job doing what I do because I'm going through this. I am walking this menopause hellway with you people right beside you because I'm going through it. I come in and out of my clothes all day long. I'm hot, I'm cold. And Allie, my office manager, she's going through menopause too. We're the exact same age. So we both are going through menopause. It's not funny in there. All right. So here, this was a statistic, but we've already bypassed this. By the year 2015, nearly 50% of the United States will be in menopause. So watch out, man. Between 1990 and 2020, the menopause population will double. Don't think this isn't an opportunity for other doctors and providers to learn how to treat women and treat them well. Healthcare providers are going to be forced to change the way they treat women. Now, this is what I wrote actually in 2014, because this is from a presentation I gave in 2014. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if providers have been forced to change the way they treat women. That was wishful thinking, I think, back then. Do you know that women with chronic constipation, I learned this week at the conference, women with chronic constipation have an increased risk of breast cancer? What? I mean, I don't have that. I got a lot of things going on, but I don't have chronic constipation. But you have an increased risk of breast cancer. It makes sense. I don't know the reason, and I could look up in this book and find it, but I don't have it with me here. I mean, when you think about it, when you're constipated, look at all the toxins that are backed up in your body there. Okay, so some of the things that happen with menopause. Also, something that's cancer protective: legumes, beans. So I've got this whole presentation here on phytosterols and hormones that I went to this weekend, but I can't go through it. I don't have time. 1 big serving of beans a day may help decrease cancer or help with decrease ovarian cancer as well, breast cancer and ovarian cancer. It's something called chemoprevention, right? Increased intake of legumes equals a decreased risk of cancers, not only for this generation, for us, but for generations to come. I think that's pretty fascinating. Who eats a lot of beans here? Oh, Lisa, do you take it all together? Well, chasteberry, or do you choose? And it depends. Do you take it all together, or do you take one at a time? As a rule, I generally start people off on chasteberry. Okay, Lisa? And then I'll go to evening primrose, and then I'll go to St. John's wort. Now, that's just how I do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it, because this chasteberry has actually got black cohosh in it and ashwagandha. So I start with a triple whammy first, and then I move into evening primrose and then St. John's wort. And some people don't need St. John's wort, but St. John's wort never hurts, actually. So, okay. Of course, we know anxiety increases, right, in women going through menopause, going through perimenopause and menopause. One of the best things, I love lemon balm. And lemon balm, actually, I'll find it here in a minute. Lemon balm's phenomenal for anxiety going through menopause and perimenopause, insomnia, nervousness. It increases cognitive function, right? It's antibacterial. It promotes thyroid health. It's also amazing for people who have herpes, oral herpes or genital herpes. So when you're going through menopause, sometimes in perimenopause, you have increased herpes outbreaks, either one or two. And lemon balm is an antiviral, and it helps with that. I love lemon balm and you can use lemon balm if you're pregnant and nursing. Of course, that's not a menopausal person, clearly, thank God, knock on wood. But if you're pregnant and nursing, you can use lemon balm during pregnancy and while you're nursing. It's an unbelievable herb. And as a rule, it's, this is 1 gram, 1,000 milligrams is two capsules is 1,000 milligrams. And that's all you need when you go to bed. Yeah, Michelle, it's fantastic. And yes, lemon balm is one of my all-time favorites. I've used it for years. It's been around for thousands of years, and it works amazing, helping with anxiety, just anxiety in general, but anxiety as you're going through perimenopause and menopause, as well as something that I started taking when my mom was diagnosed with dementia is ginkgo. And I didn't know this. Well, I do know this. Ginkgo comes from the oldest tree. It's like 200 million years old or something. You can look it up. I think it's 200 million years old, the ginkgo tree. And the leaves actually are shaped like a brain. It's quite fascinating if you look at ginkgo leaves. And of course, it helps with brain health. But it also helps with, and I did not know this, PMS, depression, sex drive. It helps raise your sex drive if you're taking an antidepressant. Now, I don't know if it helps raise your sex drive without an antidepressant, but if you're on an antidepressant, that's one of the #1 side effects is decreased libido, right? Ginkgo biloba, okay? So it helps with memory, helps with sex drive, depression, and PMS. I don't know. I take it from memory. I'm not depressed. I don't have PMS, and I'm not having sex. So there. Anyway, I hope it's helping my memory. I've been taking it since my mom was diagnosed. It says it takes at least 3 months to kick in, ginkgo. So I'm a big fan. Yes, Kelly, I do like kava. In fact, that was funny because kava helps with anxiety and hot flashes, depression, well-being. I mean, just overall feeling of well-being, right? Kava, in fact, there was a kava dance party last night at the conference I was at, and I skipped it. I put a mask on my face, took a bath, and went to bed because I wasn't feeling so great. But kava's been around for lots and lots of years. There was some research on it with liver, there was some contraindications with liver function. So you wouldn't want to use it if you have poor liver function or liver disease, right? But the research on kava shows that it is equally as effective as benzodiazepines. So your Xanax, your Klonopin, your Ativan, things like that, Librium. So yeah, I do love kava. I think kava is great. And oh goodness gracious, Gaia Herbs makes a fabulous kava. Okay, so some things that happen with menopause and perimenopause as well. Depression. I don't know, and y'all don't have to. Hey, Rand, it's good to see you, girl. Are you back in Haiti? I don't know. You don't have to hit your buttons if you've struggled with depression during perimenopause and menopause, but a lot of times that's when some depression comes on. Black cohosh with St. John's wort is a great combination. 20 to 40 milligrams of black cohosh with, of course, the 900 milligrams of of St. John's wort. Works beautifully. As well as maca, one of my favorites. I love maca. Maca and St. John's wort, this combo right ever. Now, I've been taking maca for the last month just to see. Actually, one of my employees took it and she loved it, but it made her breasts blow up big. So I said, I'll take it. I need it. I'm a double A. Give it to me. It can't hurt. I'm going through menopause. Plus, if it gives me a boost and, if I can actually buy a bra at Victoria's Secret because I took maca, I'm going to be thrilled to death. So I don't make double A's there. Maca and St. John's wort. 900 milligrams of St. John's wort plus maca, which is actually the dosing on that is 500 milligram, one capsule once a day, okay? Helps with depression while you're going through menopause, right? Maca also helps with your sex drive, helps raise your libido up. It does. It can also give you some breast tenderness, not breast tenderness, nipple tenderness. So if that's the case, then you may want to back off a little bit. Too much, okay? Let's see here. Just simple St. John's wort for depression. All right. Of course, if you're going through menopause and you're struggling with depression, you're also going to want to decrease the alcohol intake, right? Decrease the sugar intake, decrease the carbs that you're taking in because we're on a carb heavy diet around here, and increase the exercise. All the things that we do anyway. There's not enough. You can't see all these supplements, but there's a whole table here. These supplements don't work if you're not eating a clean diet. All right. They're useless. They're absolutely useless. They're supplements, right? They're not substitutes. Okay. Vaginal dryness. This is a big one. I can't tell you how many women come in the office and they don't tell me they have dry vaginas. I have to ask. Everybody's embarrassed. I'm like, how's your sex drive? How's your vagina? And they're like, oh, and they get all flustered and all. And I'm, well, does it hurt? Is it dry? Is it like rice paper? Is it like, razor blades, sand, and alcohol? I mean, all those things. Yes. Okay. Many women going through menopause have a dry vagina. So the first thing that dries up when you go through menopause is your vagina, right? Because you lose your estrogen. Well, estrogen is lubricating, okay? Lubricate your eyeballs. A lot of women have dry eyes when they have go through menopause. It lubricates your vagina. It just is lubricating. Estrogen helps keep, your skin plumped up here. It helps keeps your brain sharp. It has over 400 uses in our body. So the vagina is the first thing that falls apart. Unfortunately, that's an easy fix. We can use a bioidentical estriol, E-S-T-R-I-O-L. Your provider can have it compounded at the pharmacy. That's what I do. I give them 0.5 milligrams of estriol in the vagina for 10 nights, every night for 10 nights, and then as needed 2 to 3 times a week. You talk about plumping up a vagina. Holy cow. It apparently, from what they tell me, it goes back to its original state most of the time. All right. So we compound it, we put it in. Vitamin E also helps, but I'm telling you, it doesn't help like just plain old vitamin E right here, 800 units a day, 800 international units a day, but it doesn't work like estriol does, but you can certainly try vitamin E. You can also try, boom, straight up coconut oil. I'm telling you, this stuff from Costco works from your hair to your vaginas to the bottom of your feet. You can put coconut oil in your vagina. You can, but yes, it does work, doesn't it, Michelle? You can put it, all over your skin. You can eat it. You can do whatever. I suggest you not use the same tub to do all that with, but scoop it out. Keep this in your nightstand. You can lube it all up before, and it works. Now, it doesn't work from the inside out like estriol will. Estriol plumps it back up, gets it back up there perky and ready to go again. But you can use lard, you can use butter, you can use olive oil. All these things work well in the vagina, okay? And they work to lubricate, but they're not going to work to restore. So there's the big difference with coconut oil and estriol. Estriol is going to help restore the fullness and the lubrication. It's going to help you re-lubricate and re-plump up. These things are just going to help in the moment, but they help. They definitely help. If anybody's used coconut oil, you can hit your heart button. It works. All right. So vaginal dryness is a big, big deal with menopause. All right. What else is a big deal? Anybody have any idea? This is fun, and I love this, but I much prefer my partner, Dr. Motley, over here with me, helping me here, because it's just way more fun. I mean, this would have been a great one. He hates it when I say vagina. So I would have said vagina 50 times just to flutter him, get him all flustered tonight. All right, decreased sex drive, dry vagina, right? Foggy head, anxiety, depression, hot flashes, night sweats, insomnia, increased PMS, all these lovely things that we go through. And then we lose our sex drive, right? Now, there's a lot of factors. Weight gain, yes, ma'am. Do you know, Sherman, that the average weight gain for a postmenopausal woman during menopause is 15 pounds? That's the average. Some women only gain 5 pounds. Some women gain 50 pounds postmenopausal. And don't hold me to this, but I think what the research showed, I had this statistic at one time. We have to work out, if you're postmenopausal, you have to work out 90 minutes a day, 6 days a week at a hardcore pace, moderate to, heavy exercise, 6 days a week, 90 minutes a day, in order to get your metabolism back to where it was in our 40s, a postmenopausal. Nobody can do that. Tori Scott, I don't know if y'all follow Tori Scott, what's her name? Tori Hudson. She has an amazing blog that she puts out every few weeks or so. Tori Hudson's a great women's health doctor. And anyway, she shared that statistic. Nobody can do that. Nobody can work out an hour and a half, 6 days a week at a moderate pace. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, and weight gain around the middle. Yeah, it's terrible, 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 terrible. These women, they come in and they've got all this weight gain around the middle. And I'm a little woman, but I've got this loose thing around the middle. Now, I'm not working out like I used to, like I did in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So, I know there's a part of deconditioning there. So I have to take credit for that because, that's just my fault. It's just part of it. But you've got this flubby flab here that is just blood. I look down, I'm like, what the heck? I'm not big. I'm not saying I'm big, but it's there. It happens around the middle. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. You've got a little flab around the middle when you're postmenopausal. Okay. So anyway, many, many reasons for decreased sex drive going through menopause. Of course, we've talked about this on all of our sex videos, right? It could be work. It could be family. It could be you love him, but you don't like him. It could be you're going through menopause. It could be you're exhausted. You've got financial stress. The kids are driving you nuts. There's a million reasons that women don't have a sex drive, right? So something that I've been challenging my patients to do I've been listening to Girl Wash Your Face, that audio book, or it's a book, but I'm listening to it on audio. And she and her husband started having sex every day for 30 days. They did a 30-day challenge in September. It was called Sexy September. Every single day they had sex for 30 days, and it like blew their sex life up. She said the more sex you have, the more you want. So now then again, if you're doing this with a dry vagina that feels like razor blades in there, that's no fun. So we got to get that fixed first. But I've been challenging all my women, have sex 30 days. You've got a man, be having sex. Or if you got somebody, be having sex with them every day for 30 days. I challenge you all to do that. And let me know how it happens, how it works. If it works, I don't know why it couldn't work. I'm telling you, if I had a man in my bed, I'd be having sex. All right. Let's see here. We're going to get back here. Chasteberry. We already talked about chasteberry, breast tenderness, irregular periods, post PMS, peri-menopause. Oh, yeah, if you have increased prolactin levels. So if you're actually leaking breast milk, chasteberry will help bring that down. Okay, and then we have this one product here that is brand new for us, and I love it. The more I read about it this weekend, and they talked about it at the conference this weekend actually as well, it's called Menofem, and what it is, it's Native American, Chinese, and Ayurvedic herbs and formulas made for women mainly going through menopause, but perimenopausal as well. And it's got dandelion. Here's all the amazing things. Dandelion, wild yam, chasteberry, black cohosh, ashwagandha, motherwort, red clover, dong quai, and licorice. Unbelievable formula for women going through menopause who also need a little bit of extra, just a little bit extra push here and a little bit extra support. I think it's great. The more I learned about dandelion this weekend and motherwort and red clover for menopause, I'm impressed. I may have to try this. We literally just got this in. It's from Zymogen. It's called Menofem. Just got it in last month, so I haven't tried it yet. If anybody's tried it, let us know on here if you like it or not. Okay, so that's some things that can help with menopause. Chasteberry, black cohosh we talked about. Now, black cohosh has been around for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Historically, the Cherokees used it for arthritis, as a diuretic, for constipation, fatigue, and when women were in labor. I had no idea. I didn't know this. The Europeans used it historically for depression, hormonal imbalances, delayed menstruation. So if you were having really irregular periods, neuralgia, so head things going on, arthralgias, hand or pain, joint pain, right? It works beautifully for painful periods, menopause symptoms, PMS. In the 1950s is when we really started using it for irregular periods and menopause. There's over 120 clinical trials on black cohosh showing the efficacy of black cohosh, that it actually works beautifully. And it works great for hot flashes. Absolutely amazing for hot flashes. I use it with Chasteberry or Chasteberry Plus for hot flashes. And then I use it right here. Well, actually, this does not have black cohosh in it. For hot flashes in general, here's the things that we talk about that we use. I use Aloe vera, which actually comes from, I think, Siberia, or rhubarb. It's rhubarb, and I think it's from Siberia. And it works amazing for hot flashes. I used it for a while, and then I stopped using it. Cavanase flash ease. You know, there's not one thing that works with all women, all right? So this has all kinds of good things in it as well. This one does have black cohosh in it, I forgot. And it's got ashwagandha in it and things like that. It works. But I've got women who Aloe vera works beautifully on. Now, they have a money-back guarantee on this one. They own the patent on this. Metagenics does, and they brought it over from Europe. Some women do amazing on Aloe vera. That's all they need. Other women, Cavanase flashies. They love it. This doesn't work. So there's no one size fits all. Don't ever let anybody say that there is for you guys. Now, if you're having a lot of breast tenderness. If you feel estrogen dominant, how would you know if you're estrogen dominant, right? Well, your provider checks your labs. They need to check an estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, pregnenolone, okay? If you have too much estrogen, not enough progesterone, you are estrogen dominant. And those are going to be things like increased breast tenderness, really big, painful breasts, increased PMS, weight gain around the middle, things like that. Puffy, you're just puffy when you have too much estrogen. We use dim estro, cruciferous vegetables, right? So things like broccoli extract and all of the cruciferous vegetable extracts. Dim estro, I think, works beautiful. And I usually combine that with something like calcium D-glucarate. There's all different people who make calcium D-glucarate out there. Calcium D-glucarate helps recirculate the estrogen in your body and get your liver to detox it, because your hormones are metabolized through your liver, right? So we have to keep your liver detoxing beautifully. When I detox my liver, my hot flashes stop, 100% stop. And I detox twice a year. You all know that, with the Metagenics Ultra Clear. This is mine. And I drink this shake probably 3 times a week, just the shake by itself. I drink it. But when I do the 10-day detox, and I'm getting ready to do it here, not this week because I'm going out of town, and probably next week I'll start it. My hot flashes go away for about 6 months. And it's unbelievable, because what have I done? I have reset my liver. I have detoxified my liver, and I have gotten all of that gunk out of there, and I'm recirculating all those hormones. It's fascinating to me. And I noticed it probably about 1.5 years ago, because I've been having hot flashes for a couple of years. About 1.5 years ago, I was like, holy cow. Every time I detox, I don't hot flash for probably 4 or 5 months, maybe even 6 months. Okay. Black cohosh works beautifully with hot flashes. Okay. So does maca. Maca works for sex drive. Maca also works for hot flashes. So that's something to think about right there. Then you've got your Estravera and your Cabanase. And there's lots of great formulas out there for hot flashes. You just have to use them. And then what's another sign of all this hormone problem? Menopause. Insomnia. People can't sleep. I have slept like a log my entire life. I have never had a problem sleeping or pooping. Those are 2 things that never once bothered me until I started going through menopause about 2 years ago. And I started waking up every 2 hours. No joke, every 2 hours. Now I go right back to sleep. So that's good. I do not get up and I go right back to sleep, but still I'm disrupted. And I don't poop like I used to. And those are all 2 side effects of menopause. So insomnia, right? Waking in the night between 2 and 4:30 in the morning. Big sign. Sweating, especially the head and the neck. And that's where I wake up. Although I got a lot of hair, so my head and neck's going to sweat easily. I wake up all down through here just soaking wet. And I just have to roll over to the other side of the bed is what I do. Waking up fatigued with a headache. Even having nightmares. A lot of women going through menopause, they start to have increased nightmares and bad dreams, right? And then they don't feel good during the day. If you can't sleep, your body can't heal, right? So one of the ways I try to get women sleeping, well, I give them lemon balm. I give them progesterone, right? Progesterone, bioidentical progesterone cream. Now, I don't just give them progesterone cream without checking. I also want to know what's your family history of breast cancer, right? Have you yourself had breast cancer? Even if you've had breast cancer doesn't mean you can't use hormones. I've got many women who've had breast cancer who are on hormones, bioidentical hormones. So, I don't just start people. Now, you can buy progesterone over the counter. You can buy it off Amazon. Highly recommend you don't buy your supplements off of Amazon, but you can. Especially something like creams and oils and stuff, Lord, no, because they don't store them. They're not temperature controlled. But so you can buy it off of Amazon or anywhere, or walk in our office. But I'd highly recommend you don't do that without being checked first and see, where your hormone levels are, and then knowing your breast cancer risks. Okay. So if you're waking up at night, you're going through this. Are you eating enough protein during the day? Do you eat enough protein to keep your blood sugar stable during the night? Because when your blood sugar drops, you have to wake up. Eat protein. Eat protein before you go to bed. Decrease the carbs and the alcohol before you go to bed. Those are things that I do. I also use a ton of valerian, skullcap, lavender, rhodiola. Well, not really rhodiola, ashwagandha. I use a lot of ashwagandha at night. If y'all use ashwagandha, you know how well this works at night. What do you do? What do you detox with again? Oh, the Metagenics Ultra Clear Renew Detox. I'll put the link up there. It's the best detox on the market. In fact, there's a whole video here of, if you'll watch Sunday night service, there's a whole video on the archives on the 10-day detox. Okay. So are you eating enough protein? Eat some before you go to bed. Magnesium at night helps you sleep as well. Magnesium is a smooth muscle relaxer. So in theory, you would think it would decrease hot flashes. It does not mine, but it does help me sleep at night. Also helps you poop. Okay. 5-HTP, melatonin, phosphatidylserine, all those things that we've talked about in all these Sunday night services, GABA, L-theanine, they all help you sleep at night. This is my favorite ashwagandha right here. This is from Gaia Herbs. I've been to their farm 3 times in Brevard, North Carolina. I have traipsed through their ashwagandha fields. This is my all-time favorite. This is the one we keep in the store. This is the one we keep online. It is the best. And ashwagandha helps you sleep like a log at night. It's been used for thousands and thousands of years. This has. Then, let's talk about bioidentical hormone treatment. I am a believer in bioidentical hormones. I've used progesterone since I was probably 46, 47 years old. I started with chasteberry. Then I transitioned to progesterone. I started with cream, and then I was having trouble sleeping. So I usually start people off with cream, right? And it'll help you sleep at night, but it also calms everything down. But then I switched over to by mouth, PO by mouth, progesterone pills by mouth, and those are compounded at a compounding pharmacy. I take 100 milligrams of progesterone, sustained release at night when I go to bed. All right. And it helps with the breast tenderness. It helps me sleep. It helps with hot flashes. It just helps overall feeling good. I haven't started estrogen yet because I haven't gone a year without a period. Do you have to go a year without starting before you start estrogen? No, absolutely not. In fact, my gynecologist tried to start me on estrogen, and I said, no, I don't want to take it yet. I'm getting close though, because I was diagnosed with osteopenia. So estrogen helps your bones get stronger. It's the skinny white women who get the osteoporosis and the osteopenia because we don't have any estrogen. Estrogen hides in fat, all right? So your heavier women, most of the time, are going to have less osteoporosis. And they may even have less hot flashes because estrogen is hidden in that belly fat or wherever they've got the extra adipose tissue on, okay? So progesterone, transdermal is usually how I start. Then we can go to by mouth if they have trouble sleeping. If you're having your period, we take that days 14 through 26 or 28 of your cycle. That's how you cycle progesterone. And it's the same with Her Balance cream, right? Or any progesterone cream. Usually 2 weeks out of the month. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. It could be 3 weeks. It could be 2.5 weeks on and off. I mean, it's different for everyone. That's why functional medicine, integrative medicine is specific to you. It's not the same for every single one of you watching tonight on there, right? So progesterone by mouth or cream. And then we get into the estrogen, the bias, the estriol and the estradiol. Estriol, of course, for the vagina. You can use that if you've got, vaginal dryness. It's called atrophic vaginitis is the true term of it. So you can use that whenever you need it, right? No matter how old you are. It's not shown to raise your risk of breast cancer. Estriol is not. Estriol stays right in the vagina, okay? Now, biased, which is estriol and estradiol. So there's multiple forms of estrogen. The main ones are estriol and estradiol. That combines both of those, and that's compounded from a pharmacy. And usually we do that by cream or we do that by troche. You can, I'm sorry, that's a lie. I don't do anything by mouth estrogen wise. A patch or pellets, hormone pellets. I have testosterone pellets in me. I love my pellets. I've had them in there for about 6 years, and I get them twice a year. I love my hormone pellets. I put pellets in people, but I don't think everyone needs pellets, and I think you have to be very careful with pellets. People can lose their hair with pellets. People can get too much testosterone. I just had mine put in last Saturday, and they take a couple weeks to kick in. I love my testosterone. Testosterone you can do by pellets. You can do a testosterone cream. You can do a testosterone troche by mouth. That's usually the only ways we do it with women. So I'm a big believer in keeping your hormones balanced. I know that the longer we keep our hormones balanced, the sharper we are, the less memory loss we have, the less bone loss we have. And if you keep it balanced at a physiological level, you are less likely to have breast cancer. But I can't guarantee that you're not going to have breast cancer, right? I'm a big believer. You need to have your mammograms, and you need to have your thermography done. Now, I'll get all kinds of emails and nasty notes and things about mammograms, and that's fine. You can do whatever it is you want to do. If you don't want a mammogram, don't have a mammogram. But I can tell you right now, I get mammograms and I have an ultrasound. I've had 2 breast biopsies on this right breast for calcifications, which are precursors to breast cancer. So I have a diagnostic mammogram, I have an ultrasound, and I also do thermography with Victoria Bailey. So I am a big believer, if you're going to use hormones, you have got to stay up on your women's health. Your pap smears, cervical cancer is preventable. Have a pap smear. Ovarian cancer is darn near impossible to detect until it's too late. Well, when you have your women's health exam, they check your ovaries. So, you know, hopefully they could pick up on something. But I'm a big believer in preventative medicine. So if you want a mammogram, get a mammogram. If you want thermography, get thermography. None of those are diagnostic, so don't think they are. A biopsy is diagnostic. It'll tell you whether you have breast cancer or not, or any cancer, a biopsy will. So if you're going to use hormones, then you've got to be careful, and you cannot go. I do not put hormones in anyone who refuses to have women's health exams. I just don't, because I'm not going to put myself on the line there. I know how much better women feel with hormones, and I think it's a crime that they say, oh, you don't need hormones, you don't need hormones. I think it's a crime. Suzanne Summers put it on the radar on how we need hormones to stay young. Now, is she an expert? Yeah, she pretty well is. She's not a doctor. She's not a nurse practitioner, but she's done the work. I can tell you that. So bioidentical hormones have not been shown to raise your breast cancer, ovarian cancer, uterine cancer risk, but you also have to use them in physiological doses, not supraphysiological doses. So I can guarantee you this woman is going to be on her hormones for a long time at physiological levels. Also, something I was going to say to you all, if you've had a hysterectomy, there's a lot of doctors who say, oh, you don't need progesterone. We'll just give you estrogen and, you know, whatever. I don't fall in that category. I think women need progesterone. I do realize that if you don't have a uterus, you do not have to balance progesterone and estrogen. You can just take estrogen. But why would you do that when progesterone is so calming and it's so beneficial and it complements estrogen beautifully up the pathways? So I use progesterone. I use progesterone. I'm sorry. If you have a uterus like me and you just stopped having a period and you take estrogen, you have to have progesterone to balance it, because it raises your risk of uterine cancer. And you don't want a uterine cancer and have to go through a full hysterectomy. Okay. So if you have a uterus, do not take estrogen without progesterone. Your provider will always give you both together. But here's the way I think about menopause. You got all these pills you can take. You can do all of that, right? I mean, there's a million other things over here I haven't gone through, like DHEA and pregnenolone and all the things that we use to balance out things. But the thing is, you know, you have to Eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, and have community. These are things that help you get through this whole season of menopause. This woman right here, Christiane Northrup, this book is phenomenal. It is an oldie, but man, it is, look at this. I mean, it's huge. It is huge. You could sit on this. You could sit a child on this. It's huge. This book, I saw her speak a couple of times actually, and she said, you know, we have to look at this as a season, as a veil that's lifting, right? It's a season. There are many women who never get the opportunity to go through perimenopause and menopause. They die before they get to this season in their life. And I have tried to embrace this and just say every hot flash that comes, I just try to laugh about it and say, holy cow, you know, and be grateful and thank you, Lord, that I have lived long enough to go through this, because I know that it's a season and every season changes and I can manage this. Good Lord, I went through childbirth, 2 babies with no drugs. I can go through menopause, but I always have to remember and bring it back to many women never made it this far. I'm happy. I'm healthy. You know, I have a good job. I've got great kids. Big stinking deal. I'm going through menopause. I'm going to take some supplements to get through it, but I'm going to embrace it. And I'm going to say, thank you, Lord, for that. I wish that I had done things differently 20 years ago, but I didn't. And I didn't enjoy my youth. I mean, I probably enjoyed my youth too much, but you know, this is the season. So get through it. Just realize that we can do anything. We're women. Women have gone through menopause for millions of years, right? Surround yourself with people who love you. Turn the air down. You know, take care of yourself during this season, because, you know, if we're going through menopause, then we could live another 50 years, meaning we could spend at least half of our life in menopause. So we better enjoy it. Not menopause, but post-menopausal. So we better enjoy it. So here's what you need to do, because I'm running over. It's already been an hour, for crying out loud. Get your hormones optimal, right? We want to get your hormones optimal. If you don't have a provider who will talk to you about your hormones, then by gosh, you need to find a new provider. But not only your hormones, you need your D3, your B12, your iron, your ferritin, your iodine, and your magnesium. All of those labs, you need to have those optimal as well to support your hormones, right? You got to eat well. We already talked about this. You've got to eat well. A Mediterranean diet is my all-time favorite. Cut the gluten out. Don't eat the dairy on it. But a Mediterranean diet, it has more research on it than any other diet out there. Use some herbal formulas that you need, right, to bridge the gap. Take some cohosh, use some St. John's wort, some ginkgo, some ashwagandha, whatever you need to bridge the gap, all right? Dress appropriately for the hot flashes. Decrease your alcohol and your caffeine intake, right? Do your self-breast exams, okay, ladies? If you don't know how to do a breast exam, you can't really tell here, and I wouldn't be good to do that, to do that on the internet, take my shirt off. But you start up here in the armpit, right? The number one place for breast cancer is up here in the armpit. It's called the tail of Spence, okay? Start at the top and work your way down, all right? And you use your fingertips, all right? And you go all the way around. All the way around. The bigger the breast, the longer it's going to take. All right. Mine, it doesn't take 2 seconds to go through here. You've got to be familiar, and you got to do both sides, right? And you need to do it. I think it's best to do it in the shower because it's slick in there. You've got to do your self-breast exams, your mammograms, your thermography, whatever it is that makes you feel good, but you need to do that. All right. Who gets breast cancer? We are the ones that get breast cancer, the ones going through menopause and perimenopause, the ones whose hormones are up like this 1 month and down like this the next month, up and down. So it's very unstable in there right now. Do your breast exams. Get your women's health exams. If you don't have a gynecologist, then you need to find a gynecologist. I use Dr. Grayson Woods in Nashville. She's my personal one. She and Janie D'Addario, they are phenomenal. Grayson Woods in Nashville with Janie D'Addario. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. All right. And detox. Detox a couple of times a year. is what I would do, because you know what? A detox is not only going to help you with hot flashes, it just helps your entire body, all of your inflammation, right? And when you decrease inflammation, you decrease all the symptoms that we have in our body. So, good Lord, I ran over. I am so sorry I ran over, but I hope you learned something tonight. And I still had all kinds of supplements to show you here that I didn't get started, that I didn't talk about, but I hope you learned something. Menopause is a rite of passage. And by gosh, we've made it this far. So let's embrace it. Let's enjoy our merry menopause. Is that what it was? Is that what I said, Jackson? Merry menopause? I think I said merry menopause. Yeah. And let's embrace it and, you know, move forward. The holidays are coming, so we might as well get happy about it. The next Hashimoto's meeting is October 19th. All right. 6:30, October 19th at Nashville Restorative Dentistry. It's going to be me talking all about thyroid and my trip to Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay. If you don't know this, we have a YouTube channel. So if you have friends that don't have Facebook, because a lot of people don't have Facebook. Hey, Priscilla Hale, don't have Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, Dani Williamson Wellness, just like my Instagram. So you can go follow us on Instagram, but Dani Williamson Wellness has all of our Sunday night services have been uploaded. Brad Lumberg has done a great job of getting those up there. You can watch them. You can share them. You can learn. You can work out and put your headphones in and learn while you burn. That's what Cindy Kubecka told me she does. So go to the Dani Williamson Wellness YouTube channel and follow that. Sign up and follow it or whatever it is. All right. You can also sign up for our newsletter at our website, DaniWilliamson.com. I'm going to be having a lunch and learn on breast implant illness coming up with Cindy and Beth, who are two patients who've had their breast implants removed. I'm also having one on benzo addiction. So you need to be looking for these under events coming off of benzodiazepines. And I've got a patient who's going to be sharing her journey. Excuse me. And that's a very, very important topic, by the way. I'm going to be doing one personally myself, all by myself, on adrenal fatigue and stress for the holidays. And that's going to be coming up here probably in November. I'll be doing that. So you need to be watching that. And I'll be doing a couple more CBD ones as well, because those seem to be the most popular. All right. Elderberry syrup is at the office. We sold out of it twice last week. And I just checked today when I got back in. There's a couple bottles there. She'll be bringing more this week. But elderberry syrup's there. And we hope to see you soon. You don't have to be a patient to come into the office and say hi to us. And if you need a supplement, we've got supplements, but just come in, say hi. And we love meeting people. I love to meet you guys when you walk in. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Have a great night. Thank you for hanging in there. And Dorinda, it's good to see you, sis. You need to come to Nashville and see me. All right, you people. I love you. I appreciate you guys on Sunday nights taking time. Oh, wait, one more thing. Okay, I brought this home today from Vermont. Does anybody use mushrooms? I don't know if you can see this or not. It's from Host Defense. This one is Stress Decompress. So I'm thinking about getting 4 formulas of mushrooms in the office. This one is reishi, lion's mane, skullcap, lemon balm, and ashwagandha. He gave me a bottle to try. I'm going to try it. This is for people under stress. But, I mean, there's ones for immune system. There's all the different mushrooms. If anybody uses mushrooms, let me know. Click your heart button. And if you'd love for us to sell that in there, let me know. We'll get it in the office and we'll put it up on our website too, because I think I'm missing the boat on that. Mushrooms are something I just don't know a ton about, but I do trust this company. And I did some research on it. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Love you. We'll see you next Sunday night, where I'll be talking all things thyroid. I will be talking the state of what's going on with WP thyroid and WP thyroid and nature thyroid. And I will have had a quick 72-hour trip out to Scottsdale, Arizona, out to their manufacturing plant and meeting with their owners. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about thyroid health. All right. Have a good evening, guys. Thank you.